The betrayal was necessary and you needed to be betrayed. Now I know what you're thinking. Why on earth would I deserve to be abused emotionally, mentally, physically, psychologically, and even financially? I'm not condoning it. I'm not justifying it. But I'm here to inform you that the only reason why you had to be betrayed by yourself, clock it, in certain people, places, and things was number one, because you didn't know yourself, you didn't value yourself, and most importantly, you needed to learn certain lessons about yourself and others. So with that being said, welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, TYI Guidance, and that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now with that being said, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, always and only take what resonates as well as leave the rest. So if it doesn't apply, that means it's not aligned, which means it is not for you, so don't force it. As well as grab your pens, grab your paper, and be prepared to take notes. For today's video, we're going to go over and discuss why you had to experience the betrayal and how you can transmute it into positivity, and most importantly, why it was necessary, as well as some recommendations, some reminders, some disclaimers, and certain things that you need to be aware of. So starting off with the introduction, starting off with the first disclaimer. Had you not been exposed to sabotaging and people backstabbing you and gossip and things that were low vibrational or just things that were not in alignment with you, you would not have realized that you were not where you needed to be, and you wouldn't be doing the things that you need to do. A lot of times we have to meet certain people, places, and things and experience certain environments just for us to learn certain lessons. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that when you're having to go through this journey of life and discovery of finding yourself, that you should just be abused and people should intentionally hurt and harm you. But if you don't learn to have boundaries, if you don't learn to protect yourself, if you don't learn to respect yourself, you will willfully and ignorantly and naively just surround yourself with anything and anybody. So the second disclaimer is knowing that just because you've been betrayed doesn't mean that you have to match energy. Like, a lot of people love to match people's energy. Oh, when they throw dirt, we go dirtier. If they get low, we go low. No, you don't have to match people's energy when you can remove yourself and realize that this is beneath you. And it's not in a condescending way, it's not in an arrogant way, it's not in a braggadocious way, and it's not even in a superior way. It's just simply when you know who you are, which you're going to learn yourself as you learn certain lessons, you know what's for you and what's not. What do you look like going back and forth with people emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, psychologically, when they don't have that same energy for yourself, and most importantly, it's causing you to a path of destruction. The reason why you had to experience the sabotage was because you were leading yourself down to the road of destruction. And if you're coming across this video, that's not what you want. That's not who you are, despite of what people have done to harass and provoke you. And that's going to be the third disclaimer. That's the main reason why, going back to the second disclaimer, why you don't need to put so much time, energy, and effort into certain people, places, and things. When you know who you are, when you know you're not out here hurting and harming people, causing confusion, disruption, or chaos, why would you allow someone to get you out of your character? This doesn't mean that your emotions are not valid. This doesn't mean, once again, you deserve to be treated the way that you did. But it's like, when people sabotage you, when people gossip about you, when people talk to you sideways, when people are just so like disgraceful and distasteful, you shouldn't want nothing to do with them. And I'm speaking from experience. What has helped me along my healing journey was to accept that when people wanted a reaction, or people wanted attention, or people were just miserable and they were envious and they were just ugly beings, like internally and externally, I didn't want to sit here and give my time, energy. And of course, this is something that you have to learn, because it's nothing wrong with you having emotions. And what I don't do is, not saying that you have to be the bigger person because you don't get to express how you feel, but it's like, it's a waste of energy. Now, sometimes you do, if you have to be like in settings and environments around certain family members or friends or coworkers or etc., you do need to articulate and express to them, like, this is how you're going to talk to me, this is how I'm going to talk to you, this is my non-negotiables, this is what I'm willing to tolerate, this is what I'm not. Because it's like, a lot of people who have never faced themselves and been dealt with themselves talk to people any other type of way. And what I mean by that is, when people are used to being enabled, when people are used to being around yes men and other people who act just like them, and they don't hold them to a standard, they don't discipline them, they don't hold them accountable, they think their behavior is acceptable when it's really not. It's mortifying, it's degrading, it's demeaning, and it's disrespectful, and it's disgusting, if I'm being completely honest with you. Like, when people are used to stealing and robbing and causing confusion and being toxic and dysfunctional and want to be manipulators and gaslighters, that's not the move. So it's like, when you're not like that, a lot of times people are just projecting and deflecting, and that's another reason why, going back into the disclaimers, you need to learn how to control your emotions and regulate yourself and your reactions, so therefore you're not easily triggered, because it's a reason why. And a lot of the reasons why is not because you're not allowed to express yourself, or that you shouldn't speak up when somebody, tries to verbally say negative things towards you, but simply because you're not meant to be there. Like, somebody who brings out the worst in you is an enemy. Anytime I've ever had to raise my voice, or get turned up, or not necessarily like having to put my hands on people, but like anytime I just felt like I was like getting above and just doing the most, I had to realize, like, ew, like, you're not somebody I want to converse with. You're not even somebody I want to even engage with. And that's why I'm telling you guys not to stoop low when people try you. Like, you have to realize, like, you really need to start like taking a step back and just allowing people to be themselves. Let them look crazy on their own. Like, that is the biggest blessing that you can learn from people betraying you. Like, I know that I did. Like, once I realized like so many people were nasty, like I had nasty spirits, had ugly energy, I'm like, no, I'm not about to go back and forth with you, because you need help. It's not cute. And especially if you claim to be grown. And then it's like, people like that, a lot of times, because once again, they're not used to people like disciplining them and holding them accountable and having standards, they'll play the victim. So if you try to sit here and like address certain things or acknowledge certain things, they will act like they're lost, and they have amnesia. So the fourth disclaimer is just knowing that don't continue to allow certain people to show you certain actions or say certain things or certain behaviors if they're not changing it, or if it is, like I said, causing you destruction. If you have to second guess yourself around certain people, those people are not for you, they're causing confusion. If you cannot be yourself without people trying to dim your light or make you feel less of yourself, or they're not willing to support you, they're not for you. Like, their energy, their entity is just too low. And it's like, those type of people a lot of times are arrogant and are prideful and ignorant, and instead of them wanting to learn from you or learn from other people's, they will rather like just retaliate. And a lot of those people, because they have a lot of like internal warfare, psychological warfare, they're fighting demons, as people like to say, it's not up to you to baby them or be there for them. So lastly, before we get into the recommendations, is knowing that just because you've gone through betrayal doesn't mean that you're going to continue to experience it if you start to learn the lessons and pay attention. And that's basically what the first recommendation is just going to be. You have to start paying attention to people the first time. Like, and you have to start clocking all the underlining jokes, the body language, the subtle energy, the mood swings, the tone. People are like, oh, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's both. How somebody says something in the tone that they address it in is who they are. Once again, if you have to yell at people, if you have to curse at people, if you got to put your hands on people, why do you want to be in a relationship with them? Why do you want to be exposed to them? Why do you want to be around them? Now, you could disagree with people. You may not see eye to eye with people all the time. That doesn't mean that you have to be disrespectful. That doesn't mean that they can't lack critical thinking or comprehension skills. But it's like, if you're constantly having to be the bigger person, or you're constantly having to explain yourself, if you're constantly having to go above and beyond, you need to ask yourself, what is the purpose of this connection? What is the purpose of this relationship? And number two, it doesn't matter who it is. So many people have these sweet spots for certain people because that's all you know. You have to realize there's allegedly over 8 billion people on this planet. There's so much more to life. There's so many more cities and provinces and countries and continents and islands and democracies and religions, and just, it's too much. The world is too huge to limit ourselves to people and places and environments that don't make you feel good. You need to be able to realize and distinguish who you are. So therefore, whatever you want in this life, you won't accept. And that's going to be the third recommendation. Spending time with yourself, removing yourself, creating distance, speaking to people less. You need to be able to have a clear sense of direction mentally, if not internally. Like, if you're lost, if you don't know what your purpose is, if you're struggling, if you're so used to corruption and chaos, you need to start separating yourself. You need to be able to turn off the noise, whether that's going outside, journaling, going to therapy, building relationship with the gods, the ancestors, universe. I'm not here to force religion or spirituality, so take a resonates, leave a rest. Like, you need to be able to build a sense of confidence within yourself, because it's like when you don't know who you are, you just allow certain people and places and things to be disrespectful or to be rude. And a lot of times, once again, when you don't know who you are and other people are able to realize that about you, these narcissistic evil people, they will try to unfortunately groom you or prey on you or be like, well, that's just how I am, or they won't change. And once you realize that certain people are not willing to change their ways or to compromise or to be accountable, once again, like, them doing certain things at this point is you allowing it. Like, the only reason why certain people even had the opportunity to do certain things was because they had access to you. And of course, a lot of times, I will say this, when you are a loving person, which I know you are, people are going to be attracted to you. Like, don't get it twisted. I've had people who I wasn't in alignment with want to have access to me. Like, people are going to want to work with you. People are going to want to be in a relationship with you. People are going to want to be friends with you. People are just going to be nosy. People are going to, like, spend so much time and energy because they're so infatuated with you. But once again, just because you're receiving attention from certain people, places, and things, not all attention is always going to be good if you're not able to have discernment or transmute it. So it's like when people try to insert themselves in your life, you need to be able to ask yourself, well, what is the purpose of this person being in my life? Like, what do they do for you? And that goes with anything in life. It doesn't even matter if it's just a person. Like, you need to be very intentional about what you watch, who you listen to, and why. Like, you need to know why you're doing what you're doing. We only deal with sabotaging and betrayal because we're not being intentional. And I'm speaking from experience. The times where it wasn't a lot of times, but the times where, like I said, I've had to encounter some of the most ugliest people on this earth. And I'm not talking about how they look, because being ugly has nothing to do with your physical appearance to me. Like, I'm an adult. I don't need to be petty. I don't need to be passive aggressive. Like, you're ugly because how you are as a person, how you treat other people, how you do things. And this doesn't mean that we as people are not perfect, but it's like, you know who you are. And that's another thing. Like, when I've had to encounter these ugly people, I just immediately, like, was able to, like, read the room very quickly and realize, like, I don't want nothing to do with them. And I've had to remove myself time after time after time. And there has been times where I have been nice and kind to people, and like I said, because they're ugly and they weren't used to having nice things or being around genuine people, they sabotaged it. Like, I never personally felt like I've been betrayed by anybody, because like I said, I never value the people, but you all are not me. You don't think how I think. So I'm telling you, like, you can't value people that you don't even want to be like. You don't have to even associate yourself with people when they show you certain things or they talk a certain type of way. Now, of course, your standards are not mine, but when you have certain standards and you have a certain level of integrity, it's just it's just not cool. Like, what is cool, and Nicki Minaj said it, like, what is cool about making fun of people who are struggling financially? You're so ugly and dirty to make fun of people who are less fortunate than you. Like, there are a lot of people in this world who feel like because they have materials and money, they're better than people. You're not. Having money is whoop-de-doo. It's really not that uncommon. Like, for those who understand what I'm saying. People think they're better than you. Even, like I said, based off of how you look. How are you judging somebody based off of what they're wearing? Clothes are clothes. Cashmere, cotton, linen, silk, polyester, whoop-de-doo. I can understand if you had on all freaking diamonds, but even still, diamonds, it's not that rare. You know how many jewelers are on the world? Like, stop thinking small. Stop thinking small. You have to change. Lastly, the fifth recommendation, you have to change the way you think about yourself. You need to change the way you start seeing yourself. When you learn to have confidence and you think highly of yourself and you love yourself, everybody else around you has to be on the same page. If not, let them be in the background. Let them be a part of the peanut gallery. Like, moving forward to not experience betrayal, stop worrying about them. Like I said, people are going to want your attention. Haters, miserable people, people who are not healing, people who don't love themselves, people who never receive love are going to want your attention, are going to want to provoke you. You don't have to react. You don't have to respond. If you know that these people are beneath you based off of how they carry themselves, just let them look crazy. Like, when people gossip and talk negatively, like I said, about me, it was never betrayal. It was just like, oh, ew, that's how you are? That's how you carry yourself? Yeah, what do I look like? I know my value. I know my worth. Just because you don't doesn't mean I don't. Why would I want to be associated? Like, it's, you guys, it's just so mortifying. Like, it's never been a flex to me. It's never been a flex. And I've never been like that. This doesn't mean that I haven't learned certain things in my life and I haven't been wrong, but going on my way to like hurt people's feelings intentionally, to hurt their emotions, to gossip, to get them fired, to cheat on them, to like, ew, like it's nasty. It's just so nasty, and it's just never been attractive to me. So don't worry about people, like, because at the end of the day, as long as they don't put their hands on you, and at that point, if someone gets their hands on you, you defend yourself how you need to, whether that's like legally, or you're seeking assistance, or you're having like, you know, to defend yourself if it's life and death. But it's like, people talking about you, it says more about them. Like, people, and even when you fall out with people, because as you're growing, as you're healing, you're gonna like set boundaries. The people who benefited from you like being taken advantage of and trying like to hurt and abuse you, they never had power over you. These people are so weak. I want you to know that, like, when people go out their way to try to like provoke you or harass you or spread a narrative and a rumor about you, they're weak. Like, they know that you're up here and they're down here. Because if they thought that they were genuinely better than you, what would be the need to sabotage you? And I've known that because like there's been times where I've been in environments like in work, around certain relatives, and even like in school where people like would do certain things, and it's just like, well, if you're allegedly all that in a bag of chips, why would you be concerned about trying to bring me down if I wasn't important, if I wasn't nobody? Because you have to realize that you're important. Nobody worries about people who's not important. Who's gonna gossip about people if they didn't think that they were important? If somebody doesn't like something about you, nobody asked them to like you. If somebody doesn't agree with you, nobody said that they have to care. If something is not for you, if you say or do something a certain type of way and they don't like it, they didn't do it. Like, that's like when people project. Like, let's just say people trying to make fun of how you look. Nobody's telling you to look at me, babe. If someone says, oh, you have on all that makeup, okay, if you don't wear makeup, what does that have to do with you? Like, let the people, like I said, be delusional. Let them look crazy. Let them look dysfunctional. And if they want to seek help, they will find their way. But stop pouring into people. Stop trying to see the good, because it doesn't exist. Let people show you who they are. And I'm telling you, like, once you start to evaluate certain people's character, I'm telling you, like, you're not going to want nothing to do with them. And like I said, I've been wrong in times in life, but I could count on my hand and I could say these people's first, middle, and last names. I'm not out here just causing harm to people. I'm not out here trying to insert dominance, because you're weak. Getting a group of people to not want to like somebody, and the people who believe it, the people who stand with them, those are also two people who, like, you need to cut the cord with as well. If somebody spreads a rumor about you to another person and another person believes it, that's how they feel about you too. And it doesn't matter if you're alone. Like, people think, oh, it's 5 people and 1 person doesn't like you. Y'all not jumping nobody, because if y'all was really strong, which you're not, you're a punk and you're weak, it would be one-on-one. And like I said, I'm not here to be like physical, but it's like, be for real. If you can't do your ones by yourself, get in a group of people. Like I said, that's not cute. It's not. So when people betray you, you need to learn to stop betraying yourself, because that's who's gonna hurt the most. Like, when I was kind and nice to people, like I said, I'm not somebody that holds grudges. I'm not somebody that can be angry. So like, this doesn't apply to me. I'm just trying to make it relatable for you. Once I realized like certain people like weren't receptive, I just stopped giving my energy, especially like my finances. Like, there have been a lot of times where like financially I've done certain things for people, but I'm not the type of person to be like, well, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't. I I despise people like that. I would never be like, oh, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have this. But it was just like the fact that I did do this, and that's how you like, that's how you act. Oh yeah, I will never do nothing for you. And honestly, like, you don't have to be mad, you don't have to be bitter, you just have to learn a lesson, because at the end of the day, the only person who you're really betraying is yourself. So whatever questions, comments, concerns, if you guys want more story times, or if this resonated with you, let me know what you need to work on, how this is affecting you. But most importantly, if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, follow me on all my social media platforms. All the information is down in the description box below. And if you guys want me to talk about this in real time, drop the word live, and I'll go live on Instagram and TikTok. But I love you, you're loved, you're not alone. Thanks for watching. Peace.